Thompson was absolutely certain. She stared at the man in the courtroom and said, "That's him. That's the man who raped me." She had studied his face during the attack, memorized every detail. She picked him out of the lineup without hesitation. Ronald Cotton was sentenced to life in prison. There was just one problem. He didn't do it. 11 years later, DNA evidence proved another man committed the crime. Jennifer Thompson had been completely, utterly wrong, and she had been completely, utterly confident. This isn't a rare mistake. It's an epidemic. According to the Innocence Project, eyewitness misidentification is the leading cause of wrongful convictions in America. 69% of DNA exonerations involved witnesses who pointed at the wrong person and said, "I'm sure. How can human memory fail so catastrophically? And why do juries trust it anyway?" Here's what most people believe about memory. Your brain is a biological video camera. Events happen. Your brain records them. Later, you press play. This is completely wrong. Memory is reconstruction, not replay. Every time you remember something, your brain rebuilds the experience from scattered fragments. It fills gaps with assumptions. It smooths over inconsistencies. It creates a story that feels true. Neuroscientist Elizabeth Loftus has spent 40 years proving how easily this process corrupts. In one famous experiment, she showed participants footage of a car accident. Then she asked them questions. When she used the word smashed, people estimated higher speeds and were more likely to remember. Broken glass. There was no broken glass. The word changed the memory. A single word. Now imagine what happens during a traumatic crime. Stress hormones flood the brain. Attention narrows. Details blur. And then the real damage begins. During the investigation, most wrongful identifications don't happen during the crime. They happen afterward, in the police station, during the lineup. Here's something that should terrify you. The way police conduct lineups can manufacture false memories. If an officer knows which person is the suspect, they unconsciously give cues. A slight nod, a longer pause, even standing closer to the right photo. The witness picks up on these signals without realizing it. Their uncertain guess becomes a confident identification. But it gets worse. When a witness makes a selection, officers often say, "Good job, you identified the suspect." That feedback cements the memory. The witness now believes they were certain all along. By the time they reach the courtroom, they're unshakable. Studies show that confidence at trial has almost no correlation with accuracy. But juries don't know this. They see certainty. They hear, "I'll never forget that face." And they convict. What could possibly override such compelling testimony? DNA changed everything. Before genetic testing, we had no way to definitively prove innocence. Eyewitness testimony was treated as near infallible. Then the Innocence Project started reviewing old cases. The numbers were staggering. As of 2024, DNA evidence has exonerated over 375 wrongfully convicted people in the United States. They served a combined 5,400 years in prison for crimes they didn't commit. And the pattern was unmistakable. Nearly 70% involved eyewitness misidentification. These weren't cases of lying witnesses. These were honest people with vivid, detailed memories. Memories that felt absolutely real. Memories that were absolutely wrong. Kirk Bloodsworth was the first death row inmate exonerated by DNA. 5 eyewitnesses identified him as a child's killer. 5 people looked at him and saw a murderer. He spent 9 years in prison, 2 on death row. The real killer was later identified. He looked nothing like Kirk Bloodsworth. So how did 5 separate people make the same mistake? The brain has a dirty secret about facial recognition. We're terrible at identifying people from other racial groups. Psychologists call this the cross-race effect. When we see faces from our own group, our brains process them holistically. We notice subtle differences, unique features, individual characteristics. But faces from other groups get processed differently, more categorically. We see the group, not the person. This isn't racism, it's neurology. Our brains specialize in the faces we see most often. The effect is measurable and significant. Cross-racial identifications are 1.5 times more likely to be wrong. And yet courts rarely consider this when evaluating eyewitness testimony. There's another factor that should disturb you. Weapon focus. When